Hello and welcome to Rich Insider. If you're new here, don't forget to stay connected so that you don't miss any of our latest updates. Did you know that not all European countries are EU members? Being a European country and an EU country are two separate things. The European Union, also known as the EU, consists of a group of 27 countries, including France, Germany, Italy, and many others. These nations agreed to form a union to work together and help each other. But Switzerland, Norway and Iceland are not part of the EU. In fact, these countries refused to join the European Union due to their unique historical, political and economic factors. While so many countries of this region have become members of the EU, why did these three countries stay out of the squad? For instance, the GDP per capita of these three nations is significantly higher than the EU average, so is it good for a country's economy to not join the EU? Let's find out in this video. After two destructive world wars in the first half of the 20th century, people were determined that nothing like that should ever be allowed to happen again. So, between 1945 and 1950, a group of European politicians, including Robert Schuman, Konrad Adenauer, Alcide de Gasperi, and Winston Churchill, initiated the formation of the European Union as we know it today. Their objective was to foster economic and political integration among European nations, aiming to establish enduring peace and prosperity. Switzerland, a country at the heart of Europe, had refused to join the European Union. But why so? Switzerland has a long-standing tradition of neutrality, dating back centuries. This tradition has shaped the country's approach to international relations, fostering a dislike to entanglement in supranational organizations like the EU. Switzerland's unique position as a neutral country during World War II solidified its commitment to maintaining political independence, a commitment that continues to influence its decisions today. Switzerland's political system also plays a significant role. The country has a strong tradition of direct democracy and decentralized governance. This system prioritizes local autonomy and citizen participation. In Switzerland, big decisions are often put to a public vote, allowing citizens to have a direct say in shaping the country's future. In December 1992, a Swiss referendum was held in which the majority of Swiss citizens voted not to become a member of the European Economic Area, also known as EEA. This strong tradition of direct democracy means that Swiss citizens value their sovereignty and are wary of giving up decision-making authority to Brussels. Now, let's talk economics. Switzerland has a thriving economy, and being outside the EU has its advantages. For one, Switzerland has access to the European single market through a series of bilateral agreements. This means that while Switzerland is not a member of the EU, it is still able to trade with EU countries on favorable terms. What's more, Switzerland's bilateral approach gives it a degree of flexibility. The country can negotiate trade deals independently, allowing it to adapt to changing economic conditions and take advantage of new opportunities. This flexibility is a significant asset in today's fast-paced global economy. Switzerland has also consistently voted against joining the EU to preserve its monetary autonomy. The country has its own currency, the Swiss franc, which the Swiss National Bank issues. The Swiss franc holds great significance to Swiss identity and has a history of being a stable currency. In addition, there's also a cultural factor at play. The Swiss have a strong sense of national identity, and many feel that joining the EU would dilute this, especially due to the massive inflow of immigrants. This sentiment, combined with the historical, political and economic factors we've discussed, contributes to Switzerland's decision to remain outside the EU. And while the benefits of EU membership are clear for Switzerland, the advantages of staying out seem to outweigh the potential gains. Moving on to Norway, another European country that has consistently voted against joining the EU, but what are the reasons? Norway's relationship with the EU involves strategic decision-making. Let's start with a bit of historical context. Twice in its history, in 1972 and 1994, Norway held referendums on joining the EU. Both times the Norwegian people voted no. The reasons behind these decisions were manifold, but a few key factors stood out. Concerns over sovereignty were high on the list, as many Norwegians felt that joining the EU would mean giving up too much control over their own affairs. The country's fishing and agricultural policies, which are central to its economy, also played a significant role in the decision. Despite not being an EU member, Norway has managed to maintain a close relationship with the Union through its membership in the European Economic Area, or EEA. This arrangement allows Norway access to the EU's single market, enabling free movement of goods, services, people and capital. However, it also means adhering to many EU regulations without having a formal say in their conceptualization. This has been a point of concern, sparking debates about the balance of benefits and drawbacks. Now let's talk about Norway's economy. It's no secret that Norway is one of the wealthiest nations in the world, thanks in large part to its vast oil and gas reserves. These resources have allowed Norway to build up the government pension fund Global, one of the world's largest sovereign wealth funds. The fund acts as a kind of economic buffer, providing stability in the face of global financial fluctuations. This economic stability reduces the urgency for Norway to seek EU membership as a means of bolstering its economy. Furthermore, the fund's existence also underscores Norway's strategic approach to its resources. Rather than depleting its oil and gas reserves as quickly as possible, Norway has chosen a path of sustainable management, ensuring that the wealth benefits future generations. This long-term thinking is deeply ingrained in Norwegian society and has influenced its decision-making regarding EU membership. So, Norway's economic stability and desire for sovereignty have influenced its decision to remain outside the EU. It's a fascinating case of a country leveraging its resources and strategic position to carve out its own unique path in the world. And it's a reminder that when it comes to international relations, there's rarely a one-size-fits-all solution. Each country must make decisions based on its own unique circumstances and priorities. Finally, let's talk about Iceland, a country with a complex relationship with the EU. This Nordic island nation, known for its stunning landscapes and geothermal energy, has had a rollercoaster journey with the European Union. Back in 2009, in the wake of a devastating financial crisis, Iceland applied for EU membership. But fast forward to 2015 and the application was officially withdrawn. What happened during those 6 years, you may wonder? Well, the reasons are layered and multifaceted, much like the country's breathtaking glaciers. Firstly, Icelanders have been concerned about fishing rights. Fishing isn't just an industry in Iceland, it's a way of life and a vital part of the economy. The notion of sharing fishing quotas with other EU nations didn't sit well with many Icelanders. The EU's common fisheries policy, which aims to ensure sustainable fishing, was seen as a threat to the livelihoods of Icelandic fishermen and the country's economic autonomy. Agricultural policies also play a significant role. Iceland's unique environment supports a distinctive agricultural sector, featuring products like free-range lamb and various dairy products. The prospect of harmonizing Iceland's agricultural regulations with those of the EU raised concerns about the potential impacts on local farmers and the nation's food sovereignty. Beyond economic considerations, there's also the question of political sovereignty. Like Switzerland and Norway, Icelanders value their independence and self-determination. Joining the EU would mean ceding some decision-making power to Brussels, something that doesn't align with the independent spirit of this island nation. So if not the EU, then what? Well, Iceland has been proactive in seeking trade agreements with other countries and regional blocs. As a member of the European Economic Area and the Schengen Agreement, Iceland enjoys access to the EU's internal market and freedom of movement. It's also part of the European Free Trade Association, alongside Switzerland, Norway and Liechtenstein, which helps facilitate trade with the EU without full membership. Moreover, Iceland has pursued bilateral trade agreements beyond Europe, including with powerhouse economies like China. These external economic relations allow Iceland to broaden its economic horizons and diversify its trade partnerships without the commitments and compromises that come with EU membership. Iceland has bypassed the EU membership but also benefits from the economic and political aspects of the region in a smart way. So there you have it, 3 countries, 3 different paths and complex reasons for not joining the EU. Switzerland's tradition of neutrality and direct democracy, which has led to a wariness of supranational entanglement. Norway's historical referendum results and its unique position within the European Economic Area provides access to the single market with a desire for policy autonomy. and Iceland's economic and political considerations, particularly surrounding fishing rights and agricultural policies, which have shaped its relationship with the EU. Each of these countries has chosen a different path, guided by their unique histories, economies, and values. It's a fascinating reminder that decisions about EU membership are far from straightforward and are deeply intertwined with a country's identity and aspirations. What do you think about these countries' decisions? Do you agree or disagree? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, take care.